Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside me today. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Athens VISTA 31 for 2022. So for 2022, since the ATA show is not going to be what it usually is, and a lot of bow manufacturers in particular are not going to be in attendance, I reached out to all the major manufacturers and said, hey, I would happily demo and promo your bows. Send me a bow, I will demo, promo it for you, do as much informative research and in-depth tuning and shooting that I can, and then ship the bow back to you. And Athens is first up to bat for 2022. They sent me over here the VISTA 31. I don't get to keep it. Athens didn't pay me anything for this video. I said I would do an ATA style video for free, just like I usually do when I actually attend the show. So they sent me this VISTA 31 here. It is 60 pounds and it's set at a 29-inch draw, although that is on a rotating module, and we'll get into all this as we go throughout talking about the features of the bow. So first things first, this is not the first VISTA to the Athens lineup. They have a 31 now, a 33 in the past, and a 35-inch as well as their Peak 38, which is their target bow. They offer them in a litany of different colors, 20 of them to be exact, which is definitely on the high end for the major manufacturers that are out there. Of course, they're based right in upstate New York. You have an American-made product. They also offer a lot of different camo options than what you would usually see. So this is the Predator Brown Deception, and it is on the riser and the limbs, and it just makes for a really nice, sharp, clean looking bow. And a lot of people that are shooting Athens or some of the smaller brands are definitely looking to have something that looks a little bit more unique. They carry Treason as well as their Old Glory and O Canada, which is actually red, white, and blue, or red and white for our humble neighbors to the north. And it just offers for a really unique, different looking bow. I think it's really cool. I think Athens does a great job with it. I think it's also really nice that they offer this and continue to offer it in a variety of different axle to axle lengths. I'm a bigger guy. I like 33, 35, 37-inch bows. So this 31-inch might not appeal to me, but they do offer longer bows. And maybe we'll get to shoot one of those later. Some things that Athens has continued to bring from models of the past is the rotating cam module. This is a 3-track binary cam system. Athens used to, in the past, use a mod-specific or cam-specific system in some of those bows, and it wasn't as user-friendly as nearly as this RTX cam style is. So not only do you have a rotating module, but you also, and we'll get into this more later, have a rotating different settings for let-off. So 90, 85, and 80% let off, which is great. A lot of guys are liking the higher let off, allows you to hold longer at full draw if you have to on an animal. I myself prefer something closer to 80% let off. So I have the ability to do that, and I can play with my draw length, fine tune it, because changing that timing of the the let off is going to change my draw length by about a quarter of an inch, and that is perfect because I have a rotating module and I can really lock in and dial in that feel that I want out of a rotating module and adjustable let off right there on the cam. Speaking of being a 3-track binary, everything's held together with gas bowstrings, which is arguably one of the better major manufacturers of bowstrings on the market. Eric Griggs has been making strings for a lot of different bow companies, and they will make it for any bow company, but it's nice that they come stock. They're a very high quality, professionally made string, and it's nice that they come stock with the speed knocks and everything already installed on the VISTA 31. Going away from the cams, but sticking with the strings, right in the middle we do have a roller guard, which is new for Athens for 2022. Just a very nice, simple, clean roller guard, and it is adjustable for fletching clearance, allowing you to move it in and out. You can get a little bit of tuning out of your roller guard to alleviate tension or to add tension to your cables and really fine tune that arrow flight as it leaves the bow. You have a really nice flat back grip here on the back. It's built right into the riser. I personally like grips that are in the riser. I don't like overmolded rubber. I don't like little pieces of plastic, this, that, and the other thing. I like it to be a nice flat grip. And if I hold the bow up here, you can see here by its orientation, and it really offers for a low risk grip, which is my personal favorite. Although you could definitely high wrist and mid wrist this grip if you would like to. 2 rest holes here in the shelf, which really offers for nice clean alignment. Everything down from an inexpensive whisker biscuit up to the most expensive Hamskea or Vapor Trail is going to allow you to use 2 bolts and really lock in that rest angle 90 degrees to the shelf. Of course, you have a stabilizer bushing in the front, and it's really nice that you do have one pretty low down the riser too on the backside. And speaking of the riser, you see it's a pretty long riser for a bow that's only 31 inches axle to axle, and it's very clean. I like a lot of clean lines on my bows personally. I don't like a lot of waffle gridding or a lot of random cutouts. This just looks like a really nice clean bow, really aesthetically pleasing bow. And I will say that about any of the older style bows from a lot of different manufacturers that have a really slim riser, slim limb design, which is something different here. We have a slim riser, but we have a much wider limb profile. You have 1-inch wide limbs, which a lot of manufacturers are going to. Of course, these would be like a Gordon Glass limb, Barnsdale style limb, very robust, very durable, and a very short limb profile. So you see, obviously, from limb pocket to limb tip, it's a very short profile, and it just allows for a tight package. You don't have this long, gangly brace height. It's just a really clean look. The riser is, of course, machined for a 2-piece quiver if you're into something like that. Of course, you have multiple sight holes as well, so you can really move your gang adjustment, which is very common on a flagship level bow like this. As simple as it sounds, this is a very clean bow. This is a very clean, simple, easy bow. The rotating modules with the adjustable let off, which of course can adjust your draw length just by that 1/4 of an inch, which is a huge feel, is really nice to have out of a flagship level bow. The really wide limb pocket stance, and I will say here, just offhand, as I pulled this out of the box, it's very, very light. Actually, let's get an official weight on this bow. I'm kind of curious. Now, I'm not going to claim this is the world's most accurate scale here, but we have it zeroed out. Let's see, we got the advertised weight is 4.2 pounds, and it is dead nuts 4.2 pounds right now. I don't know if the camera will catch this number or not, but that is very abnormal for a bow to actually come in at advertised weight. It feels every bit as light as 4.2 pounds. The balancing is just, I mean, look at that. That is just one thumb and part of my palm, and it just holds there. Definitely a really nice short little hunting bow. Just balances so well. Usually 31-inch, I don't get really wound up about 27 to 31-inch bows. Don't get me all that fired up. Being a bigger guy, 31-inch draw length, I really like stuff that's at least 33, if not 34, 35 inches in length. But that is super nice. I had my wife, actually, when I first pulled this out of the box, had her pick it up, and she was like, wow, that's really light. And it is, because most of my stuff is pretty long and pretty beefy. But this, I think, would make an excellent hunting bow or even a target bow style for those that have a shorter draw length. And speaking of which, the modules do go down to, I have the mod chart here, just so I don't forget, 24.5 inches up to 30.5 inches of draw length, which is an insane amount of adjustability. Now, nicely, it does run off of 2 different modules. So again, going off my cheat sheet here, 30.5 down to 27 is module 1, which comes here on the bow, and that's going to cover the lion's share of grown guys, basically, 27 to 30.5. Like I said, I'm closer to that 31, so this bow is a little short for me, but even still, 30.5 down to 27, and then that module number 2 is 26.5 to 24.5. So if you're a lady or a short draw archer, as a guy or a youth that's growing through the bow, you can definitely get this down with that second module, shipped right from the factory. And if you want to sell it and have it be used by an archer who's much larger, or just have the second module on hand, it's a lot cheaper to do that than to replace it with a bow press and to have to change cans with a different size. Just really nice and simple and clean and easy. And speaking of nice, simple, clean, and easy, I want to look here at the manual that comes with the bow. This is something I don't get to do at ATA, right? I don't actually get to look at the actual literature here. So some manuals that I get from, working in the shop and opening up bows from Bowtech and Matthews and Hoyt and Elite and everybody else, sometimes the manuals just really aren't that informative. They tell you, yeah, you have a cool bow, but the Athens module here tells you explicitly that the rotating let-off module on the end of the draw length module tells you that your draw length change approximately is going to be 0 if you leave it at the 90% setting. It would change it by 1/8 at the 85% setting and 1/4 inch at the 80% letting, and that is decreasing because, of course, if you rotate that stop to hit closer to alleviate let off or take away let off, it's going to shorten your draw length. That's really nice to have that literature in here, as well as a full cam timing chart, what to do if one cam is hitting before the other. Of course, full diagrams here. That's really nice. There's a lot of literature that doesn't give you that. Also, this gives you all the bows and gives you all their specs, whether you're shooting a 31, the 33, the 35, or even their target bow, which is the Peak 38. Also, is a really nice feature that a lot of people have been getting really wound about lately is that Athens is now offering bows up to 80-pound peak weight, which is something that you don't get from a lot of different manufacturers. It's kind of coming back. For some reason, really people get really, really excited about 70 to 80-pound bows. This is a 60-pound peak, which if I'm working in the shop and I'm selling a litany of bows, the lion's share of guys are getting between a 60 to a 70 or 65 pound peak weight. There are, of course, a majority that do get 70 pounds as well, but I would say 60 to 65 is where a lot of guys land with their bows. So that's why I requested this to be a 60 pounder. So that way when I go to shoot it and go to feel it, and I'm not going to shoot it at my draw length, I'm going to shoot it closer to yours. I'm going to set this bow up to 29 inches and 60 pounds. First, I'm going to put a D-loop on it, and I'm going to take it over the draw board. I'm not going to film that. See where the cam timing is, come back and report, and then we will take our first couple of shots with this. I'm very excited. All right, so let's get some actual shots through this bow, check out the draw cycle, so on and so forth. Having it on the draw board over here, we're getting 63 pounds as peak weight, not abnormal, becoming a little bit hot, particularly right out of the box. Strings will stretch a little bit, so on and so forth. And then draw length is coming in at 29 and 1/8 inches, which is spot on perfect. I'll take that for definitely well within tolerance. I've seen up to 3/8 to a half an inch over advertised specification at module length for almost every different manufacturer on the market. So that's good. And of course, we can play with the let off to shorten a little bit more if we feel it's too long. We're going to be shooting a couple different arrow weights here. This right here is a 424 grain gold tip 340 spine, very stock standard build. Then we also have a 300 spine Victory V-Force. This is 473 grains. And then we have a behemoth here, a aluminum. This is a XX75, 2315, about a 340 spine, 200 grains up front. This thing weighs 642 grains. And I just want to kind of use those as a feel, because this is it's advertised as a hunting bow. So I kind of want to use standard hunting weights. If you were just to pull an arrow off the shelf or build a little bit beefier one, what it kind of feels through after the shot. So let's kind of get the draw cycle here. Again, 63 is what it's peaking there, and 29 and 1/8 inches. Again, it's going to be really short for me because I'm a 31-inch draw. The grip right now, again, feels really good. The balance is just phenomenal here right out of the box. I mean, I'm just holding that with part of my thumb and the webbing of my palm there a little bit. Just really well-balanced bow. Let's come back here and feel this through the draw cycle. I'm going to draw really low here. I'm shooting towards the back wall of my basement. So we have a nice big target down here. That's actually very linear to it. I'm going to try to let it down. That's not too bad for that high 80s, about 87, 88% let off. Let's draw it like I normally would. Oh, that's quite nice. That is really, really nice. That doesn't have, that really high let off. That doesn't have this big, peak dump into that 90% style there. So let's see if we can draw this a little bit slower. Peaking, peaking, peaking. It's getting ready to peak over into a valley there, and there it is. Like I said earlier in the video, I like to shoot closer to 80, 85% let off. So I would probably play with that, set this out to, closer to my draw length and play with that a little bit to not have as much of a depth of a valley. But that is still for 90% let off. I felt some really wicked 90% let off. And even still, like it looks like I'm struggling, but I'm trying to go slow. Like that holds really nicely as it peaks over. All right, let's take the shot here. I mean, that's that bow went nowhere. That bow went absolutely nowhere. That arrow weighs 424 grains. So you might go a little bit lighter. But that bow went absolutely nowhere, and no shock, just a little bit of just a little hum vibration, and that would easily be taken out with one stabilizer. You threw one in the back, it would be completely gone. Of course, you even got a sight in here. I mean, all you have is the speed knocks and the X limb dampeners there. So here we have 473 grains. Oh my. Wow. There is no hop to that whatsoever. Let's get the behemoth in here. 642 grains. Wow, that's quiet. I mean, it's such a linear draw. Like the draw force curve on that. Of course, I don't have any technology to show any of that, but it's just very nice. I mean, it's nothing. Like, I'm genuinely impressed. Going through the draw. Yeah, it's just a really nice drawn bow. But I mean, for not having my normal grip, I mean, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, just a really nice, clean draw cycle. So I think, needless to say, I'm very impressed here in just these first couple of shots and just overall working with the bow, with the VISTA 31. I think they've got an absolute humdinger here for Athens, and in particular, trying out a bow that's more my size, 33, 35. I think it could really be a slam dunk of a bow. Just a nice, very linear draw cycle, even at 90% let off, no real big dump. I'd really be interested to try that 80 to 85%. Just holds really well. That balancing, that much wider limb stance with those inch wide limbs, really robust cams. I didn't really talk about it earlier, but it's just very nicely machined, very large cams and modules, just nice deep string grooves, just lots of good stuff here from Athens up there in New York. But anyways, that's the first initial overview and look of the Athens VISTA 31. I hope you're able to get outside yourself, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.